This is section B of Guess Paper 2026. तो इसका फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, What is a computer system? Computer system क्या होता है? A computer system is the combination of hardware and software that works together to perform task. जो कि क्या करते हैं, हार्डवेयर और सॉफ्टवेयर दोनों इकट्ठे काम करते हैं किसी टास्क को परफॉर्म करने के लिए. It accepts input, processes data, store information and produce output. ये क्या करता है? ये इनपुट को एक्सेप्ट करता है, उस पर प्रोसेसिंग करता है और आउटपुट प्रोड्यूस कर देता है. और बाज औकात उसको स्टोर की अगर जरूरत हो तो वो स्टोर भी कर सकता है, जिसको हम स्टोरेज कहते हैं. हार्डवेयर इंक्लूड्स फिजिकल पार्ट्स सच एज कीबोर्ड, माउस, सीपीयू एंड मॉनिटर. ये सब के सब हार्डवेयर के पार्ट्स होते हैं. सॉफ्टवेयर इंक्लूड्स programs and instructions that tell the computer what to do. Example is a laptop used for typing, calculation and internet browsing is a computer system. How to get full marks if you will write definition of the computer, hardware, what is hardware, tangible parts of the computer is called hardware, software mean a specific instructions or set of instructions that can be given to the computer to perform a specific task, that is called software. And you can produce one example. Next, or part is a student wants to solve a problem using a computer. Explain how computational thinking will help him solve it step by step with one example. Computational thinking is a method of solving a problem in a logical and organized way. इसमें problem को logically और organized way से solve किया जाता है. It helps the students break the problem into smaller parts. इसमें क्या किया जाता है, एक बड़ी प्रॉब्लम को smaller part में शिफ्ट किया जाता है या ट्रांसफर किया जाता है या कन्वर्ट किया जाता है. ठीक है, और ऐसी स्मॉलर प्रॉब्लम में जिनका सोल्यूशन पॉसिबल हो, और इसको कहते हैं डिकम्पोजिशन. इट हेल्प्स हिम focus only on the implementation detail, important details, and ignore unnecessary details through abstraction. He can also identify similar patterns and then design step-by-step instruction called an algorithm. इसके बाद क्या किया जाता है, इसके similar patterns को identify किया जाता है और फिर उसके algorithm लिखी जाती है ताकि problem को solve किया जा सके. Example: to make tea, the student breaks the task into steps such as boiling water, adding tea leaves, adding milk, and serving. How to get full marks? Use the word decomposition. Decomposition means converting a complex problem into a smaller problems. Abstractions. Abstraction mean hide the implementation detail, unnecessary details from the user. Pattern recognition and algorithm. Question 2.2 is differentiate between natural and artificial systems with one example each. A natural system exists in nature and is not made by human. Example: solar system, digestive system. ये natural system में आते हैं. An artificial system is a system made by humans. और artificial system को human ने बनाया होता है for a specific purpose के लिए. Example: computer system, school management system, like that. So the main difference is that natural system occur naturally, while artificial systems are designed by humans. How to get full marks? Give definition of both terms and one example of each. Next, or part is a school uses an online attendance system. Is it natural or artificial? Justify your answer. A school online attendance system is an artificial system. It is artificial because it is designed and developed by humans. It uses computers, software, and networks to record and manage attendance. It does not occur naturally in nature, so it cannot be called a natural system. So, how to get full marks? First state artificial system, then give clear justification. Question 2.3. What are input devices? Give two examples. Input devices are the hardware devices used to enter data and instructions into a computer. They allow the user to communicate with the computer system. Example is keyboard and mouse. Other example include scanners, microphone, and webcam. To get full marks, write definition first and then at least two examples. Our part is why are input devices necessary for a computer system? Input devices are necessary because they help user enter data and instructions into the computer. Without input devices, the computer cannot know what task the user wants to perform. जो आप इनपुट देंगे उसके अगेंस्ट या उसके corresponding वो क्या करेगा, उसका वो एक्शन परफॉर्म करेगा. They make communication between the user and computer possible. Example is a keyboard is needed to type text and a mouse is needed to select items on the screen. For full marks tip is use the line without input devices. The computer cannot receive instructions. You must use this type of keywords. Question 2.4 is what is motherboard? Describe its role in connecting different components of a computer system. The motherboard is the main circuit board of a computer. It connects important components such as CPU, RAM, storage devices, and other hardware parts. It provides pathway through which data and signals travel between components. Therefore, it helps all parts of the computer system to work together properly. Tip is use the keyword main circuit board and connects component. Our part is why is CPU called the brain of the computer? Support your answer with one reason. The CPU is called the brain of the computer because it controls and manages all major operations. It processes instructions and performs calculations. It also coordinates the work of other components such as memory and input-output devices. Therefore, just like the brain controls the human body, the CPU controls the computer system. Full mark tip is use control all operations as the main justification. Question 2.5 is what is ALU? Describe its role in performing arithmetic and logical operation. ALU stands for arithmetic logical unit. It is a part of the CPU and perform arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It also performs logical operations such as greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, and equal to, or comparison. Thus, ALU helps the computer in calculation and decision making. How to get full marks? Mention both arithmetic and logical operations. Our part is how does the control unit help during instructions execution? The control unit controls and coordinates all activities of the CPU during instruction execution. It fetches instructions from memory and interprets them. It sends control signals to other parts of the computer to perform the required task. Therefore, the control units ensure that all steps are carried out in the correct order. How to get full marks? Use the keywords or words like fetches, interpret, control, and coordinates. Question 2.6. Differentiate between RAM and ROM. RAM is volatile memory, so its data is lost when the power is turned off. जब तक आप इसको इलेक्ट्रिसिटी प्रोवाइड करते रहेंगे ये काम करती रहेगी. जब इलेक्ट्रिसिटी इसको प्रोवाइड करना बंद कर दोगे then it will lose the data. ROM is non-volatile memory, so its data remain stored even when power is off. RAM is used for temporary storage during processing. ROM stores permanent instructions such as startup instructions. How to get full marks? Use keyword volatile, temporary, and non-volatile or permanent, like that. Or part is, why is RAM called volatile memory? RAM is called volatile memory because it loses its stored data when the power supply is turned off. It stores data and instructions only permanently while the computer is working. जब ये कंप्यूटर काम कर रहा होता है तो ये वक्ती तौर पर कुछ डेटा और इंस्ट्रक्शंस अपने अंदर स्टोर करती है। यूं ही जब हम पावर देना इसको बंद कर देंगे तो क्या होता है, ये डेटे को लॉस कर जाती है। When electricity stops, the contents of RAM are erased. That is why RAM is suitable for temporary processing, not permanent storage. How to get full marks? The strongest phrase is losses data when power is turned off. Question is 2.7. Differentiate between primary and secondary memory. Primary memory is directly accessed by the CPU and is usually faster. It is used for temporary storage during processing, example RAM. Secondary memory is used for permanent storage and is usually slower. Example includes hard disk, SSD, USB flash drive. How to get full marks? Compare speed, storage type, and CPU access. The OR option is, a student wants fast access and large storage. Which memory type will be used? Explain briefly. The fast access, the student will use primary memory, especially RAM. RAM is faster and directly used during processing. For large storage, the student will use secondary memory such as hard disk or SSD. Secondary memory can store a large amount of data permanently. इसमें डेटा permanently store किया जाता है. How to get full marks? Write RAM for speed and hard disk or SSD for large storage. Question is question number 2.8. Differentiate between data bus and address bus. A data bus carries the actual data between CPU, memory, and other components, while an address bus carries the memory location or address where data is to be sent or received. जहां पे डेटे को भेजना हो उसका एड्रेस और जहां से डेटे को पिक करना हो उसका एड्रेस को कैरी किया जाता है बाय एड्रेस बस के थ्रू. So the data bus transfer content while the address bus transfer location. Both buses help the CPU communicate with memory and other devices. How to get full marks? The best contrast is data versus address and location. Or option is, or question is, how do buses help in communication between CPU and memory? Buses help in communication by providing pathways between CPU, memory, and other components. The data bus transfers actual data. The address bus carries memory addresses. The control bus carries control signals, so all the operations are performed properly. To get full marks, must mention data bus, address bus, and control bus. Next 2.9. What is data communication? Data communication is the process of transferring data between two or more devices. It involves a sender, a receiver, and a communication medium. The data may be traveled through cables, radio waves, or other signals. It follows rules to ensure correct and reliable communication. How to get full marks? Use such type of keywords like sender, receiver, medium. Our question is, name the 5 basic components of data communication and explain any one of them. The 5 basic components of data communication are sender, receiver, message, transmission medium, and protocol. Sender is the device that sends the data. Receiver is the device that receives the data. Protocol means the rules for communication. Anyone can be explained. For example, transmission medium is the channel through which data travels. How to get full marks? The tip is, first write all 5 components, then explain one clearly. Question number 2.10 is, what is a protocol? Explain its role in data communication with one example. A protocol is a set of rules that controls communication between devices in a network. ये rules होते हैं जो कि communication को control करते हैं. It ensures that data is sent. ये ensure करते हैं कि data sent किया गया यानी चला गया. Received and understood correctly. Protocols define how data is formatted, transmitted, and processed. Example is one of the protocol is HTTP, is used to access web page on the internet. Full marks tip is write set of rules and add one example. Our part is, why is protocol necessary in data communication? Give one example. Protocol is necessary because devices need a common set of rules to communicate properly. Without protocol, data may not be sent or understood correctly. It ensures accuracy, reliability, and proper formatting of data. Example, Hypertext Transfer Protocol helps browser and web servers communicate correctly. Full marks tip is, use the sentence like that: without protocol, communication will not be reliable. Next question is, differentiate between simplex and half duplex. Simplex transmissions allows data to travel in one direction only. Example, keyboard to computer read. Second example is radio broadcast. Half duplex transmission allows data to travel in both directions but not at the same time. Example, walkie-talkie. To get full marks, use the exact line both directions but not at the same time. Or option is, give one real-life example of full duplex communication. A real-life example of full duplex communication is a telephone call. In full duplex communication, both devices can send and receive data at the same time. During a telephone call, both people can speak and listen simultaneously. Therefore, telephone communication is a suitable example of full duplex mode. How to get full marks? The keyword are simultaneously and same time. This is the second session. Question number 12.12. Differentiate between hub and switch. A hub broadcasts data to all connected devices. A switch sends data only to the intended destination devices. Hub is less efficient because it creates more unnecessary traffic. Switch is more efficient and improves network performance. How to get full marks? Write broadcast to all versus sends to specific device. Or option is, why is switch preferred over hub in modern networks? A switch is preferred over a hub because it sends data only to the required device. This reduces unnecessary traffic on the network. It makes communication faster and more efficient. Therefore, switches improves overall network performance and security. How to get full marks? Use less traffic, better efficiency, and better performance. Question number 2.13. Define LAN and WAN. LAN stands for Local Area Network. It covers a small area such as room, office, or school building. WAN stands for Wide Area Network. It covers a large geographical area such as cities or countries. Example, school lab network is a LAN, while the internet is a WAN. Full marks tip is always write the full form of LAN and WAN. Or part is why network type is suitable for a school building and why. Sorry, question is which network type is suitable for a school building and why. The most suitable network for a school building is a LAN. LAN is designed for small geographical area such as one building or a campus. It allows computers in classroom, labs, and offices to communicate easily. It also faster and cheaper to manage than a WAN for a small area. Full marks tip is write LAN first, then justify with small areas. Question 2.14. What is star topology? Star topology is a network topology in which all devices are connected to a central device. The central device is usually a hub or switch. All communication passes through the central device. It's easy to manage because each device has a separate connection. Full marks tip use the phrase all devices connected to a central device. Or option is why is star topology widely used in network? Star topology is widely used because it is easy to install and manage. If one cable or one computer fails, the rest of the network can still work. It is easier to detect fault in this topology. It also provides better performance when a switch is used as the central device. Full marks tip is write easy to manage and fault in one link does not stop all network. Question 2.15 mean question number 15th part is what is decomposition? Decomposition is the process of breaking a complex problem into smaller and manageable parts. It helps in understanding and solving the problem more easily. Each smaller parts can be solved separately in an organized way. Thus, decomposition makes problem solving easier and systematic. Full marks tip is write complex problem, smaller parts, and benefit like type of words. Or part is how does decomposition help in solving complex problems? Decomposition helps by dividing a large problem into smaller, simple subproblems. This makes the problem easier to understand. Each part can be solved step by step without confusion. After solving all subproblems, the complete solution can be combined easily. The full marks TPs use the idea, divide, solve separately, and combine type of words. Question number 2.16. What is algorithm design? Explain how it helps in solving a problem. Algorithm design means creating a step-by-step logical procedure to solve a problem. It helps in planning the solution before writing the actual program. It makes problem solving clear and structured. It also reduces errors and improves efficiency. Full marks TPs use step-by-step logical procedure. Our part is why is logical thinking important in solving computer problems? Give one example. Logical thinking is important because it helps in solving problems in a correct and organized way. It helps the programmer understand the sequence of steps clearly. It reduces mistakes and leads to better solution. Example, while finding the largest of two numbers, we compare both values logically and then decides the greater one. Full marks tip is write importance and all and add one small example here. Question 2.17. What is the IPO model? Explain its three components with one example. IPO stands for input, process, and output. Input means data entered into the system. Process means operation performed on the data. Output means the final result produced by the system. Example for for area of rectangle, input is length and width, process is multiplication, and while output is area. Full marks tip, write all three parts and then give one example. Our part is identify input, process, and output for calculating the area of a rectangle. Input is length and width of the rectangle. Process is multiply length by width. Formula area equal to length time width. And output is area of the rectangle. So full marks tip, keep the answer in three headings: input, process, and output. Question 2.18. What is an algorithm? Give one real life example. An algorithm is a step-by-step procedure or instructions or set of instructions used to solve a problem. It should be clear, logical, and in proper sequence. Real life example is steps for making tea or steps for switching on a computer. Full marks tip is definition. One real life example is enough for full marks. Our option is why is a flowchart useful before writing a program? A flowchart is useful because it shows the sequence of steps in a visual form. It helps the programmer understand the logic of the solution before coding. It makes easier error. It makes to find error easier to detect and correct. Therefore, it saves time and helps in writing a better program. Full marks tip is use visual form, logic, and detect error. Question 2.19 is define HTML. HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is the standard language used to create web pages. It uses tags to structure content such as headings, paragraphs, images, and links. Full marks tip is always write the full form first. Our part is why is HTML important in web development? HTML is important in web development because it provides the basic structure of a web page. It is used to create headings, paragraphs, images, links, tables, and lists. Without HTML, a web page cannot be properly organized or displayed in a browser. Therefore, HTML is the foundation of web development. Full marks tip is use the phrase basic structure of a web page. 2.20 Differentiate between static and dynamic websites. A static website shows the same content to every user and changes only when updated manually. A dynamic website changes its content according to user input or other conditions. Dynamic websites often use server-side processing and databases. Example, a simple information page is static, while Facebook or an online shopping site is dynamic. Full marks tip is best comparison same content versus changes with user interaction. Our part is why are dynamic websites more useful than static websites? Dynamic websites are more useful because they can respond to user interaction. They can show updated content according to user needs. They support features such as login systems, online shopping, and personalized pages. Therefore, dynamic websites are more flexible and interactive than static websites. Full mark tip is use interactive, updated content user needs. Question 2.21 What will be the output of the following code? Variable x equal to 5, variable y equal to 3, document dot write x plus 3. The output will be 5, 3 because it used to concatenation. This is because 3 is a string, not a number. In JavaScript, when a number is added to a string, concatenation takes place. Concatenation means दो वैल्यू को आपस में जोड़ देने को concatenation कहते हैं. पहले मैंने 5 को जोड़ दिया, फिर मैंने 3 को जोड़ दिया, तो इसका क्या बन गया? 53 बन गया. Therefore, 5 plus 3 becomes 53. Tip: write output plus reasons plus concept of concatenation. Our part is write a JavaScript statement to declare a variable named age and assign it to the value of 15, then display it on the web page. JavaScript statement is first variable हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं वेरिएबल को डिक्लेयर करने के लिए, और एज क्योंकि वेरिएबल का नाम था इसलिए हमने एज लिखा इक्वल टू 15, आगे उसकी वैल्यू लिख दी. नेक्स्ट हमने लिखा डॉक्यूमेंट डॉट राइट में एज लिख दिया. This declare a variable named age, assign it the value of 15 and display it on the web page. Full marks tip is for full marks write both declaration and display statement. Question 2.22 Why is debugging important? Debugging is the process of finding and removing errors from a program. It is important because it helps the program run correctly and produce accurate output. It improves the reliability and correctness of the program. Without debugging, a program may give wrong results or stop working. Full marks tip is write meanings plus importance plus result if not done. Or part is what problem can occur if debugging is not done. If debugging is not done, the program may contain errors or bugs. Because of these errors, the program may produce wrong output. In some cases, the program may crash or fail to run properly. Therefore, debugging is necessary for a correct and reliable program. Full mark tip is use wrong output, crash and errors. Question number 2.23. What is data analysis? Data analysis is the process of examining and interpreting data. इसमें हमारे पास डेटा होता है, हम उस डेटे को इंटरप्रेट और उसको देखते हैं कि इसका पैटर्न कैसे बन रहा है और कैसे ये हमें किस तरह का वो पैटर्न नया हमें ट्रेंड शो कर रहा है. It is used to find useful information, pattern and conclusions. It helps in decision making in areas such as business, education and research. और ये इन कामों में decision making के तौर पर यूज किया जाता है. Example, analyzing exam results helps a school understand student performance. How to get full marks in this type of question? You should write definition, purpose and one use. इसका और पार्ट है differentiate between discrete and continuous data with one example each. Discrete data consists of separate values that can be counted. Example, number of students in a class. ये discrete data की एक example है. Continuous data can take any values within a range and is usually measured. Example, height or weight of students. How to get full marks? Use counted for discrete and measured for continuous. Question number 2.24. What is big data? Big data refers to data that is very large, fast or complex to manage by traditional methods. It may come from social media, business records, sensors and online activities. Example is data collected by YouTube, Facebook or online shopping websites. How to get full marks in this question? Do not write only large data. Add difficult to manage traditionally. Or part is why is data visualization important? Data visualization is important because it presents data in a clear and visual form or format. Graph and charts make information easier to understand. अब ग्राफ डेटा इसमें ग्राफ और चार्ट्स की फॉर्म में शो किया जाता है जिससे आप इजीली डेटे की पैटर्न को डेटे की वैल्यू को देख सकते हैं. It helps user identify patterns, trends and comparison quickly. Therefore, it supports better and faster decision making. How to get full marks? Use clear visual form, easy to understand and decision making. Next question is 2.25. Define artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine or computer to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence. These tasks includes include learning, reasoning, decision making and problem solving. How to get full marks? When you will use the phrase tasks that normally require human intelligence. Or part is write one possible ethical issue that may arise when computers make decisions for humans. One possible ethical issue is unfair decision making or bias. If an AI system is trained on biased data, it may give unfair results to some people. For example, it may wrongly prefer one group over another in selection or recommendation. Therefore, AI decisions should be accurate, fair, and carefully monitored. How to get full marks? The best keyword here is bias or unfair decision. Question 2.26. Write any two applications of artificial intelligence. One is self-driving cars. AI helps vehicles detect roads, obstacles, and make driving decisions. Virtual assistants like Siri, Alexa, and Google Assistant use AI to answer questions and perform tasks. Other applications include medical diagnosis, face recognition, and recommendation systems. How to get full marks? Write two applications and give a small explanation for each. Our part is write one possible harmful effect of AI-based decision making on people. One harmful effect of AI-based decision making is that it may produce wrong or unfair results. If the system makes a bad decision, people may lose opportunities or face problems. For example, an AI system may wrongly reject a deserving students or job applicant. Therefore, human supervision is important in AI-based decisions. How to get full marks in this question? Use wrong decision, unfair results, and human supervision. Question number 2.27. Write any two uses of cloud computing. Online storage. User can store files and data on remote servers at any place or anywhere. File sharing. User can share files and documentation or documents through the internet. It also allows backup and access to data from different devices. How to get full marks? Use the terms remote servers and internet. Our question is, how is cloud computing helpful for students? Cloud computing is helpful for students because they can store notes, assignments, and files online. They can access their work from different devices and different locations. It also makes file sharing and group work easier. Example, students can use Google Drive or OneDrive to save and share assignment with others. How to get full marks? Use store online, access anywhere, and share easily. Question number 2.28. What is information privacy? Information privacy means protecting personal and sensitive data from unauthorized access. It ensures that only authorized people can view or use private information. Examples include passwords, phone numbers, and bank details. How to get full marks? Use the phrase personal and sensitive data. Our part is briefly explains system security. System security means protecting a computer system from unauthorized access, damage, or misuse. It includes protecting hardware, software, and data. Security measures include passwords, antivirus software, and firewalls. It, its purpose is to keep the system safe, reliable, and secure. How to get full marks? Write protecting system from unauthorized access and one security measures. Question number 2.29. What is transmission media? Transmission media is the path or channel through which data travels from one device to another. It may be wired or wireless. Examples: twisted pair cables, fiber optic cables, radio waves, or Wi-Fi. How to get full marks? Do not stop at path. add from one device to another. Or part is give one example of wired and one example of wireless transmission media. One example of wired transmission media is fiber optic cable. One example of wireless transmission media is radio waves or Wi-Fi. Wired media uses physical cables while wireless media uses signals through air. Full marks tip is give one clear example of each type. Question number 2.30. What is disinformation? Disinformation is false or misleading information that is spread deliberately. Its purpose may be to confuse people or influence their thinking. It is not a simple mistake, it is shared intentionally. Full marks tip is the most important keyword is deliberately. Or option is differentiate between fake news and a reliable source of information. Fake news is false or misleading information presented as true. A reliable source provides accurate, verified, and trustworthy information. Fake news may spread rumors or confusion, while a reliable source is based on facts and evidence. Therefore, people should verify information before trusting or sharing it. How to get full marks? Use false, misleading versus accurate and verified. Question number 2.31. What is intellectual property? Intellectual property means creation of the human mind that are protected by law. It includes inventions, software, books, music, design, and other original works. It gives creators legal rights over their work. How to get full marks? Best phrase is creation of the human mind protected by law. Or option is why should software piracy be avoided? Software piracy should be avoided because it is illegal and violates intellectual property rights. It causes financial loss to software developers and companies. Pirated software may also contain viruses or malware. Therefore, legal and licensed software should always be used. How to get full marks? Use illegal, financial loss, and security risk. Question number 2.32. What is entrepreneurship? What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is the process of starting, organizing, and managing a new business. A person who starts and manages such as business is called an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur takes risks to earn profit and provide useful products or services. How to get full marks? Use business, risk, and profit. Or part is what is a business plan? A business plan is a written document that describes the goal, strategy, and operations of a business. It explains how the businesses will work and growth. It may include information about products, customers, cost, and marketing. It helps the entrepreneur plan properly and make better decisions. How to get full marks? Use goals plus strategies plus business operations. What is cost of production? That is last question 2.33. Cost of production is the total expense required to produce a product or service. It may include raw material, labor, electricity, transport, and machinery cost. It is important because it helps in decisions in deciding the selling price and profit. Or to get full marks, use total expense and mention example of cost. Or part is, why is market research important in business planning? Market research is important because it helps a business understand customer needs and market demands. It helps in identifying what products people want and what price is suitable. It also helps in studying competitors and making better business decisions. Therefore, market research reduces risk and improves the chances of business success. Full marks tip: use customer needs, market demand, and better decisions. Final section B advice. How to secure full marks in section B. Start every answer with a clear definition. Use book words and examiner friendly keywords. Write answers in short bullet points. Add one example where needed. In or difference questions, write both sides clearly.